Hey everybody, it's Fadi Dabaja with Remax Leading Edge, and here I have today Nabi Saad with Estates Title, the Dearborn branch manager. And we just have a few things that we're going to discuss in regards to closing, title work, title company, what do all those mean, and what are the most important questions that people ask in regards to that portion of the buying and selling process and how that affects them, and what you can do to avoid these issues so they don't come up. So one of the main things that people do is they don't ask the right questions prior to getting to closing. They don't review the closing documents, and it could be because nobody sent it to them or whatever the case may be. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's very important for you to review everything and understand everything that's happening at the closing table, so you don't get there and in front of everybody feel confused and have that fear.
So to begin, title insurance. Everybody thinks, hey, I have homeowner's insurance on the property. What do I need this extra insurance on the statement? What is this? Well, title insurance is simply ensuring that title on the property is free and clear of any lien encumbrances. So no mortgages are owed, no mechanic liens are on the property, no roofers owed any money. No person has any outstanding interest on the property to be owed any type of money. So as a buyer, you want to receive a free and clear title when you're purchasing a property. Say you're buying a house for 100 grand. You don't want to purchase property for 100 grand. 2 years later, have somebody come up to you, send you a letter in the mail or something saying, hey, I'm owed this 5-10 grand on this property. And it's ultimately not that buyer's responsibility. He didn't sign up to pay that person that fee when he first purchased the property, or anything along those lines.
And what people don't understand is these things happen.
Yes.
There's things that after you close a year, 5 years, 7 years later that they come up, and there's some things that after a certain time frame that people can't come back and ask for, but things do come up and people don't understand that this is so important. You know what I mean?
So back to title insurance. So what we do as a title agency is we do a in-depth history search on the property. Full chain of title, everything recorded, everything privately recorded on the property. So as I said, any mechanics liens, roofing liens, construction liens, mortgages, if an attorney's owed a fee for anything he did to help the homeowner out on the property. A lot of times these will come up, and what we do is we work diligently, clear them all before we get to that closing table, so that when the buyer signs, the seller signs, everything's taken care of. Anybody owed money on the property, we pay them out. Any documents needed to remove interest of anybody on the property, we send for it, we receive it, we make sure it's at the closing table. So we make sure that everything is free and clear at the closing table.
And a lot of sellers always ask, well, why do I have to pay for it? Why do I have to do this? And I go back and explain to them, well, why did you want to sell your house for top dollar in the first place? Whenever you're trying to maximize your profit at closing, there's things that you want to be able to provide for the buyer as value for them to get back for paying the premium price that you asked for. So whenever you're purchasing a home, you got to understand that there's things that protect you. And as a seller, when you're trying to sell your home, there's things that you have to provide to protect the buyer, because at the end of the day, you don't want something coming back to you. So it doesn't only benefit the buyer to protect them, but it protects you, so you can say, hey, look, I paid for the title insurance for this property, nothing's going to come back on me. And if it does, everything gets cleared out through the title insurance company that the title company provides for you. Another big issue that people bring up and always ask and get confused with, because there's property tax, there's income tax, capital gains tax. There's a word in the closing that you're going to see that's called transfer tax. Transfer tax is completely opposite or completely different than those other three, and a lot of people get confused on what is transfer tax, and as a seller, why do I have to pay it? And Nabil will explain that to you.
Now, transfer tax. So sort of similar to a consumer tax. When you purchase something here in Michigan, you get taxed 6% when you buy something. An asset here in Michigan, you get taxed when you sell it and transfer it out, as opposed to when you purchase it. So the state takes 3.75, so $3.75 for every $500 of asset you convey, and the county takes a total of 55 cents for every $500 for every asset you convey. So this is collected at the closing table, and it's needed to record the deed over to our buyer, to our grantee. And the way I explain it is it's similar to a consumer tax. However, the illness is placed on the seller. Here in Michigan, they place it on the seller, and that's pretty much it.
And there's a difference between the title insurance and transfer tax. Title insurance is something that's needed but not required. Transfer tax is required. You can negotiate in your purchase between the buyer and the seller who's going to pay for title insurance, if title insurance is needed, or you can opt out of it. but you can't opt out of transfer tax. It's required by local authorities, local taxing authority. That's something that you do have to pay for.